Hi everyone, Gazimov here from MMORPG.com, and this is the eWin Racing FL BW3C Gaming Racing Chair. We're going to be taking a closer look at this over the next few moments. So while I unbox everything, let's go through some of the technical specs and features of the eWin Racing Flash series. First up, we have the 5-point black anodized aluminium base, and this is to distribute the weight of the chair and the person sitting in it amongst the 5 wheels. After that, we have the backrest. Both lumbar support and neck cushions are attached, but these can be unclipped and moved or removed as needed. The backrest and seat are each made from cold molded, which is not cut, memory foam. And both the seat and backrest are fairly heavy because they contain 16mm steel tube. The tube itself contains 1.5mm thick steel, and they've been coated to prevent rust. Both of them are also made from 1.2mm thick PU leather. The seat itself is made up of 3 separate sections, also molded from cold molded memory foam, and that's to provide additional comfort on the sides as well. The recline mechanism is also attached to the seat, and this allows you to recline anywhere from 85 to 155 degrees. In addition to that steel frame, both the seat and backrest used green heavy-duty elastic webbing to provide additional support for the memory foam inserts. You can also see that there's a steel bar that runs across, and that's to provide additional strength and rigidity, and it's also where the base of the chair attaches. Moving on to the accessories box now, and the first thing out is the 4-page colour instruction manual, which is in nice clear English with easy to follow steps. But the surprising inclusion for me was a pair of white gloves, which also help to protect against any kind of nicks or scratches or anything like that. And it's something that I wish PC case manufacturers would include with modern day PC cases as well. After that, you've got the 5 3-inch casters, and then a couple of plastic shrouds which go over where the backrest bolts to the seat itself. After that, you've got another shroud, this one being for the gas cylinder. The cylinder itself is a 12cm category 4 cylinder that's rated for 150 kilos or 330 pounds. There's some hex bolts to attach those shrouds to the sides of the chair, and a spare one as well. And then there's also Allen keys as well, so you don't need to buy any tools in order to be able to build the chair. Next up is the base. This connects the seat to the gas cylinder. And there's also a tension spring if you want to lean back or rock back and forwards on the chair itself. And then the final aspect is that gas cylinder itself that we mentioned earlier. Again, coated black to go with the shroud and the foot. That's everything. It turns out that eWin are a relative new entry into the gaming chair market after doing an exhibition at Gamescom in Germany back in 2016. But their heritage in making chairs goes back all the way to 2002, when they were making car seats themselves. So it kind of makes sense for them to move into gaming racing chairs, particularly with this kind of car seat style or racing chair style. In terms of putting the chair together, it's actually fairly straightforward. The eWin chair comes with a 4-page full colour instruction manual describing how to put it together, and the steps are clearly laid out. It's also a chair that you can put together solo as well, so you don't have to phone a friend or say looking for more to actually get the chair put together, unlike some that I've had to do. Overall, there's a lot that I like about the eWin racing chair. Whether it's the cushion design, so rather than sitting on just one flat slab of foam, you've actually got 3 pieces, the bit on the bottom and the 2 bits on either side. Yes, that's typical of more expensive racing chairs, but it's usually a cost-cutting measure when it comes to the cheaper end of the market. I also like the way that the back piece has been designed as well, with double stitching throughout. So you get around here, for example, you've got both the seam that holds the two pieces together and double stitching on either side to keep things nice and firm. I also really like the design of it, both the cushions and the back piece themselves have all been done together to do this nice classy look that doesn't look a bit gaudy like you've seen on some chairs that are a bit e-sportsy or a bit over the top. It's nice, it's blatantly racing, blatantly gaming, but it's not overdone, if that makes sense. I think things that I'd like to have seen, and this comes down as much to personal preference as anything else, are things like having a bit more weaving on the chair itself, particularly on the seat. What I mean by that is having some kind of either diamond-shaped cushioning or padding. And the main reason for that is that it helps promote ventilation so that you don't get too sweaty if you're sitting on the chair for long sessions. It helps to combat the lack of breathability that you get on some of these materials that have been man-made rather than using full leather itself. I think the other thing I'd like to have seen is a slightly larger aluminium foot. I tend to feel that this one's a little bit on the small side, but again, that's personal preference. And it's as much an artifact of the particular centre of gravity as anything else. But both of these themselves are minor gripes in the grand scheme of things. The eWin Racing Flash Series chair is absolutely a nice chair to sit on. It's very, very comfortable, particularly for extended periods of time. And I wouldn't fault it at all in terms of any major drawbacks. There are other chairs out there that I've used which have got little gripes and issues with them that kind of detract from them over time. But I think this one will be perfectly serviceable. I think the other thing that I really quite like about this chair is its adaptability to different types of gaming, particularly around the armrests. So, for example, if you're playing mouse and keyboard, then you probably want the armrests quite high because then you're propped up against the desk and you're nice and parallel and ergonomic. Whereas if you're playing on a console, you want to grab the D-pad, but you want to be able to get these a little bit lower and a little bit more out the way so that you're not bashing your elbows into them all the time. They're also nice and soft as well. You can actually get your thumb in quite a bit with these, which also means you don't end up with sore elbows after playing Destiny 2 for, I don't know, 3-4 hours, which, yeah, we've all been there. The eWin chair weighs in at $380, £300 sterling, or €350, which puts it in the mid-tier of gaming chairs. Certainly not the cheapest one that you'd find on the market, but it contains all of the features and a couple more that you'd expect to find in that kind of mid-bracket. So there's one other thing to add, and that's that we've managed to secure a special deal from eWin for this chair or any of the others in their range. Simply enter MMORPG at the checkout and you'll get not just free shipping, but 15% off the price of the chair. That takes it down from being a nice price to actually very reasonable indeed. That's all for now, guys. Thanks for watching. I've been Gazimov, and remember, keep it locked to MMORPG.com for all your MMO news. Cheers!